Talking about, girl, I love you, you're the one. This just looks like a rerun. Please, what else is on? Y'all, these nonfiction books changed my life in 2025, so buckle up. So the first book that I read at the top of 2025 was Indistractable by Nir Eyal, and it was the perfect book to read at the top of the year. If you are someone who tends to lose focus and you are really in a space where you are ready to cut distractions and really focus on the things that matter to you, this book is the one to read. I thought this book did a great job of defining and breaking down what a distraction is and also how to manage your time. It's so easy to think about distractions as, oh, I got a random call in the middle of my work and social media, but it really is a lot deeper than that. And I also thought that this book, alongside defining distractions, it also talked about the emotional component of distractions, the psychological component of distractions. It talked about this myth of perpetual happiness and how a lot of our distractions, if not all of them, are somehow linked to us trying to avoid pain. I love this book because it gives a step-by-step guide on avoiding our distractions. But I think the game changer about this book is that it helps you integrate ways to identify and manage the cues and habits that lead to distraction. It's so easy to want to delete all of our distractions, but I think it's such a better practice in the long term to understand our distractions. So if you really want to find ways to focus this year, read Indistractable. You got my heart beating like a 808. Can you rise to the occasion? Yeah, that's an album. So if you go back and watch my first video, I've already talked about The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. Y'all, if you are stuck in a life rut, in a creative rut, you're in a big transition, you're kind of at a fork in the road, things are starting to feel very existential, The Untethered Soul is a game changer. I mean that. It's a game changer. I know that I funnel a lot of the things that I observe through the lens of being an artist and a creative, but I really do believe that our artistry and our creativity is tied to who we are as a human being, and that enriching our lives as humans is one of the best ways to enrich our lives as artists and creatives. It just gave me a completely different perspective. And when I tell you, I reference or think back to this book almost daily since I've read it, I mean that. I think that this book really does help solidify the bottom line on life and the opportunity that we have because we are here. Yeah, I think when I read this book, I was definitely in a season of change, of transition, and I was in a space that something had changed in my life, but I didn't quite know how to articulate it or approach it. And I felt really overwhelmed at the time by all of the things that I wanted to accomplish, all of the things that I wanted to do, but I couldn't seem to anchor it. But it was reading this book that led me to ask the questions that ended up really leading me down the path of my why I'm doing what I'm doing, because it's so easy to just hop on the hamster wheel and go, produce. But if you're in a place where you know you want to do so many things, you want to create, but you need to both zoom out and plant your feet on the ground, it's this book. Read The Untethered Soul. Read The Untethered Soul. It's so good. I told myself 100 times. Okay, so this next book is 4,000 Weeks by Oliver Burkeman. If you are someone who wants to do all of the things, you're trying to do all of the things at once, you're a multi-hyphenate, you have lots and lots of interests, and that has gone from feeling very ambitious and exciting to a little chaotic and distressing, this is the book for you. The book is called 4,000 Weeks because it is the amount of weeks in the average lifespan. And when I tell you that this book was sobering, it was sobering, but it was sobering in a clear but encouraging way. I think something that you can run into if you have a lot of interest or you're a multi-hyphenate or you have a lot of creative energy is this feeling that you're not focused or that you need to zero in on one thing. And I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that most of all, all of your ideas, all of the things that you want to do, all of your interests need an anchor. And I learned through this book that one of those anchors is time. And I think that this book helps you understand the significance of time, but also the significance of your time and how to use it. Come back to me, it's almost easy. So the next book is The Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness. Fun fact, this was actually one of the first books that I saw at the library after I moved to Ireland. And I was like, number one, all right for y'all having Gucci Mane in the library. And number two, I'm about to read this. If you need inspiration for turning your dreams into a reality or bringing your creative ideas forward, read this book. One of the quotes that I loved was, when you start trying, you find out who you are. And I feel like I learned a lot about Gucci Mane as an artist. And one thing that I feel was a theme in the book is you have to do it. You have to show up for the work that you want to do, make it happen. He definitely drove a few points home in this book. This idea that you have to show up for the work that you want to create. Do not wait to do it. Do not make excuses. Absolutely go after the things that you want and make it happen. Like if you are someone who feels like you are stuck in the planning phase, you're stuck in the idea phase of it all, the fantasy part of it all, and not the work of it, read this book. It's so clear cut. You will not have any questions about what he means, how he does what he does after you read this book. Also, if you love a visual element, there are lots of pictures in there. I love that. I know if I'm haunting you, you must be haunting me. Okay, I'm actually happy this book was last. Y'all, this next book is the one. Rest is Resistance by Tricia Hersey. I feel like all of the books I've talked about, it's a way to manage your time and to learn things so that you can produce more work, so that you can show up and do all of the things. But I feel like this book taught me that rest is essential to the creative process, and it's essential to our lives as human beings. At one point when I was reading this, I thought, man, is this book a little repetitive? But that's the point. She is saying it as many times as it takes for you to understand it, that rest is essential. Find ways to rest, schedule your rest, prioritize your rest. I think she did a great job of talking about the systemic and cultural barriers that discourage rest as well, which I think is an important piece that doesn't always get talked about. Sometimes I think it can feel like, well, just play some ambient music and get a sleep mask, but it really is deeper than that. This book is for my busy folks, people who run to and fro. You never rest. You've never taken a nap in your life. You've never watched anyone rest. Rest makes you uncomfortable. Sitting down, sitting still makes you uncomfortable. Read Rest is Resistance, maybe even after a nap. Oh, I never meant to break, but I got where I want it now. But y'all, those are all of the nonfiction books that I read in 2025. Also, if you have been wanting to read more, if you've been curious about reading, this is your sign. I think it's a beautiful thing because you can challenge yourself and you can also allow it to be casual and fun. It can be whatever you want it to be. I think taking the time to read is really important, and I just want to encourage you to do so. Also, I read 36 books in 2025, so let me know if you want me to talk about any of the other books that I read on this channel. I am a book lover, so I want all of my bookworms to find me. I'd love to know what book you are currently reading and what book changed your life last year, and that's it. Love y'all. Things I used to do, I don't do no more. Woo. Since he came into my life. Since he came into my life. He made a check. Woo. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Oh,